have some fun today. Welcome back to October, where I'm playing along with Christy's Beautiful Life in her 30 days of sketches. Each day we get a sketch made by someone that's just exclusive for this series. Today the sketch is by Fiddle DD Designs. It also says the lily pad. I will have information that I can find linked below. I have these 4 photos. You notice they're bigger than what the sketch is. I plan on trimming them down. The other thing is it's got that big journaling spot. I don't have that much to say. So I'm thinking there's going to be a way, maybe I can find some kind of embellishment or big title to go right there. I'm going to show you the companion page I'm going to use. So my husband and I went to Florida last February. We went to a state park. We took a little tram, which is this picture with his eyes closed. This is just us there under the trees. But there was lots of alligators, which we have 3 pictures with alligators and then 1 with flamingos. So this is my companion page. I'm gonna use, oh, wait till you see this. So I don't know where so I used to be a Close to My Heart consultant, and I moved 15 years ago, so it's been longer than that. This collection I got it, I don't know, while I was still living here, so within probably the last couple of years. Don't remember where I got it, but it is so old. And don't you love it? It's vintage. So this is Discovery paper pack. And you know it's old because it matches with the older colors. And I had it back when I lived my last place. So topiary, hollyhock. And then I'm not sure which yellow this is. It's a nice, looks like this one, looks like buttercup. These are long, well retired. There's been a couple packaging changes, I think, since then. But I love this one. I had it the first time, so when I saw it all intact, I had to get it. Okay, the other thing we're playing along with today is Stamp It Like It's Hot. So that's where we get out our stamps, and we each play with a different, or each month we play with a different prompt. This month is where you stamp an image and cut it out. This is gonna work so perfectly because, now I gotta find it. Here's a stamp set. And again, you can tell it's old. I took the button off, but it's called Flutter. And it has these big, dragonfly, butterflies. Kind of looks like a moth. Maybe it's a bee. It's a bug. So then it goes with this pack. Look at this. The interesting thing is, these are lovely variegated colors, right? I'm not sure that I'm going to pull that off on here, although I could, and I can show you how. I'm probably going to do a lot of stamping before I start to trim anything out. I think this is going to be my background. You can see in this sketch it's stripes. The other thing that I am not doing the exactly same thing, you can tell they have a super big circle in that it's going off the page, right? Well, my Cricut cuts 11.5 by 11.5, which I did. So I thought maybe I would do like this much over here. You're still going to see up on top and on bottom, although I could make this smaller to do a frame. That's a very good idea, because then it would give the same illusion of filling the page. I'll think about that. And then I will cut it off and use the other part over here. I was thinking about trimming down my photos, and again I'm thinking of how I want to cover that space with all the journaling. But these won't be bad. Like this one's probably going to go down here. That one's probably going to end up there. And then we've got these 2 that'll maybe go like this. I will stamp these, I will cut them out, and we will have some fun. So let's get scrapping. I can't believe I almost forgot to mention Scrap It Like It's Hot. Check out the playlist below. Okay, so I went ahead. Oh, so I had that good idea. I am not going to use the pattern paper that has the pink in it. So I'm just sticking with green. And if you're new here, I love a good monochromatic layout. So I take my good idea and I trim this down, and I have to do it twice, I think. I think I take a ½ inch off each side, and I think I go back for another quarter. And the way that I figure that out is my 11.5 inch circle going to look bigger hanging off the side? So here, yep, that's exactly what I'm doing. And this is a longer video. I did keep in the stamping part because I think it's kind of interesting. I did not keep in the cutting it out, which is not very interesting. So if you have any questions about fussy cutting, I have a good scissors I can recommend. I really like the Tim Holtz serrated scissors. Okay, so here is where I try to decide where I put my circle. And I like to be precise, even though it's a sketch and you can do it any way you want. And I get out my ruler and I'm trying to figure out, like, is it 3/4 over the edge of the paper? And I decide it should be further over, because and it wouldn't necessarily matter except for I'm working with the same circle. So once I cut it off, I guess I could make the other part smaller, but I can't make this side any bigger. Although I could, I wonder, I don't know. I'm starting to think of stuff. It doesn't even matter anymore. So I tear it off, and look, it really pulls on the paper, and it didn't make a hole on the paper, which I knew I didn't mind in the middle, but I mean, it could have tore right in half for that matter. So I go at it again, and I see how far to the right I can get while still maintaining that I'm going over the edge was important to me, guys, so that's what I did. And it did. It gave me another inch, I think, into the paper. So now I'm confident. I'm going to cut that off, and I'm going to see what it looks like. And of course, my blade gives me a hard time. I'm going to see what it looks like on the other side. I think I take my scissors, yep, just to trim off the side pieces. That's a little bit faster, especially when I'm having problems with my blade. So then I will see what that looks like, and I just eyeball it up, lay it down, and then trim off the end again, because I know I want a little bit of a space in the middle, like is in the sketch. And there I go trimming again. And of course you can't lay it on you can't hold it straight on the bottom because of the circle being in the way, so I figure it out. I don't know, my trimmer's being a little bit finicky. And then I go in for a second swipe. And there it is. And then I do have that piece that is going to back it. These are two very thin pieces, but that's okay. Two thins together make it thicker. But I put the backing to the side, and I totally completely forget about it. I even took a final picture. I ended up replacing it, but so you will only see the framed layout in the final photo. So here I take those cute butterflies, and then so I got rid of my pink, I got rid of the yellow, I pulled out 2 other greens, and I have them right here so that I can tell you what I used. Maybe. I used the topiary like I had out. I have pear, which is more recent than the ones I have, but yet still retired. Citrus leaf, old, and key lime, which are old. So the first one I put down, I wasn't really happy with. I mean, it looks good, right? It's 2 different colors, but what I decided I was really going for more of was probably like one color for the body and then a different color for the leaves. And then I did the darker green one, and I was going to do second generation. Oh, see there, I'm pointing out the body is darker, the leaves are lighter. And when you do this, you want to make sure you go with the lighter color first and then stamp the darker, because you don't want to muddy up your light stamps with the darker color. But I put one of those dark green ones, and I meant to do second generation, and I totally forgot. So I got 2 nice dark green ones. I end up cutting, and there's like, what was there, like 5 of those different stamps, and I did several of each one of them. Oh, here. Yep, 5 stamps. So yeah, I think I have like 25 of these little bugs, and so I end up with a lot left over, which is totally fine, because then I just threw them into my green color box, which I can save for later if and if nothing else, it's just a reminder that, hey, you have stamps, get them out and use them on your page when you find them in your color binder. And I do, some of them are solid, some of them are second generation. Several of them, though, I just worked with different colors of the different, um, mixing different colors, but different colors, different colors, mixing different colors to get different looking bugs, because bugs are all different, right? And some of them were really light, but I pretty much cut them all out. I did have a couple that didn't stamp well, so I just got rid of those. Next month's prompt will be to stamp with something other than ink. So it would be like texture paste or any other kind of those mixed media sprays even too. That'll be interesting. And I can't wait to see what everybody else is doing with this prompt. I have loved using my stamps that I don't always reach for. So very good hop. Check it out. There's a playlist below. Check out also Christy Beautiful Life and her 30 Days of Sketches. The Facebook group is linked below. You can check that out. People are posting, even if they don't have a YouTube video, they are posting, or Instagram, they're posting their layouts there. You can check out all the sketches, and the playlist is down below as well. So here I am just taking out a whole bunch of Project Life cards, and then I'm going to make like a big cluster because I don't have all that journaling to do. However, I must think there's a really big space there because my pictures are going to end up a little bit bigger than what's in the sketch. So I make this really big cluster, and before I glue anything down, I do make sure that it's the right size and make it smaller. But for right now, you can just watch me make this cluster of a bunch of different Project Life cards that I'm not even going to use. And eventually then I do kind of lay them down and then trim my photos down. Oftentimes with sketches, I do follow the sketches pretty closely. I will look for photos that I can make pretty much exactly as the layout calls for. In this particular one, I think there's a lot of room for changing it up, especially the photos, because there's just so much room on this lovely sketch that you can make your photos bigger, and I will show you how to do that. So these are the flamingos, and this one was pretty easy to trim down, and I could have made it, looks like a 2x2 up there, but I thought, well, if I've got extra space on the bottom, how come I can't leave it 2x4? And I might have taken it down to, oh no, that is 2x4. And then, ooh, I find these flowers that I got out of my stash, and this is something where you pick it up at a table at a crop. So these I've had for a while. They're even older than how long I've had them. But I think they look okay here on this crocodile or alligator. Oh, now I've forgotten. It's one or the other. So I do trim down the one of the reptiles there, and then I've got two other photos to trim down. This is of just the one swimming along in the water. This one I had a very hard time trimming down because they go all the way across the bottom, not the bottom, the middle of the photo. Here, I'm going to make this one a little bit smaller. I'm trying to, look at the spacing on the sketch, even though I'm using, even though my one picture is bigger, obviously, I still wanted to just kind of mimic the sketch there. So here I'm trying to figure out, where do you trim it down, because you don't want to go through like the middle of an alligator. And even though these pictures aren't that great, like they're not that clear, you still want to keep what you have so that people can tell what it is. But I was able to find spots, and I think this does even get smaller. Yep, it gets smaller later. That where I can just trim it, and it doesn't look like I'm trimming a alligator or a crocodile in half. And then I'm going to put that aside, and I don't think you can see that come back, but that, because of that companion page, I have that little the black arrows in there. So I am going to use that card there, and I think, should I use the film strip instead of the bracket? But I didn't really like that there. I do trim a little bit more off this photo, and I want it to have a little bit of a border on the, there's my punch, a little bit of border on the the card that's sitting there. So I know that's where that card should sit because I didn't want it to go over, again, who knows what my brain is thinking, but I didn't want it to go over the side of the circle. So I glued it down, took everything off the page, and then trimmed the rest off the side of the card. Was this important to the sketch? Absolutely not. Could have overlapped the circle? Absolutely. But it still works this way too, just as a little bit more work. And again, my trimmer's giving me a hard time, so it takes a little bit longer than it normally would. And look, the first time I get a nice trim there. And this is where I'm like, oh, I want a little bit of a border there on the left side, so I do trim it down again. But I think real hard on it before I before I trim it. I don't want to take too much off. There it is. Perfect. Love it. Great. Perfect. And again, there is no border in the sketch, so, but I was happy to get that on the page, and it just gives it a little bit of interest. So there goes the photo that's 2x4 on the bottom, and there's my bigger photo on top. And then here's the single alligator. I hope it's an alligator. They told us how to tell the difference, and I don't know now, but it's all good. And that one gets overlapped, and I do it on top because I don't want to overlap the alligators, which works out well. And then I go back to my cluster. Yeah, that's not fitting. Still not fitting. Nope. Keep going. Not fitting. Take that tag off. Oh, look, I have just about enough room for one card, maybe two. I do stick another one in there because it's the journaling spot. So now I have my title and my journaling spot, which that tag won't stay there. There. And now I have that on my layout. So that's what it needed. And it worked out perfectly because it gives me just enough room to journal on. And I place out my flowers. And I'm pretty soon, nope, I gotta get the flowers down before the bugs come in. And I didn't want those two because those two both had the sparkly flower that laid up on top of the darker flower, so I wanted to spread this out. I'm using this card to make the bracket, and mine is much teenier, but it still represents the same thing. So here come the bugs, and I do put some adhesive. I have this foam adhesive. It's like they're like tabs, and they're from the dollar store, and that's what I use. But right now I'm just going to bend up their wings a little bit and spread them out to see, which one goes where, kind of thing. And like I said, I end up with a whole bunch more left over, but you'll see that in a second. So these are kind of the star of the show, which makes me happy. And I love the colors. I love the variation of the colors and how that turned out. I did get, no, I didn't. Did I? I got at least 4 in each cluster, but the bottom one only got 3. And they didn't all get, and I think the top one only got 2. And then I have these clips that are in my green color box, and I put one of each of those into the middle of the flower, and then I think I had the best idea. Take a flare and put the paper clip on top, and boy, it stands out. Amazing. It's probably been done before, but it was like a light bulb moment. I was like, this is really cool. I'm not only using the paper clip, but I'm making the paper clip stand out, and I'm using flare. Yay! It's all about stash busting today. Well, and stamping, of course, and sketches. So here I am, getting the adhesive on. So I tried putting it right onto the flare. The adhesive came off, and I just wrapped it around the paper clip. I've done this before. That works well. The rest of them, the other two, I was able to use the ATG gun with the adhesive and run it right over the top of the flare, and that the circular clip stayed right on. I do have a couple left for future layouts, Didn't use them all up, but I could have put a good dent in them. And here I'm making sure that I don't want the flower on the bottom to line up with the flower on the right, so this one's going more to the left. The one on the top's going more to the right. And then I get my little bugs down. Because what else would you put on a alligator / crocodile layout but some cute little bugs? And then here's where I'm thinking like, I'm going to have a frame around so they can go off the side of the paper. At the time, I've totally forgotten that I've trimmed off the sides, so I'm thinking they ought to fit right on top, and I was a little bit worried about the flower on top, but because of the frame, it works out very well. And here's just some ATG to put one flower to the next and put the flower to the page. And there's a lot of dead space in that's not important on the top of that photo. It's just a lot of trees, so that flower does work well there. I did not cover up any of those reptiles on the bottom. At this time I'm like, oh, I never glued this down. Let's get this down. So I sneak some ATG underneath there, get that nice and secure. I'll go under the bottom side as well and on the left side just to make sure nothing's going to fall off. And then I'll go back to my bugs, I believe, on the right upper corner. And here's the last flare with the adhesive on it and the clip. And it gets a little bit of foam adhesive under the bottom so that it can stick and pop up, and then just regular ATG adhesive on the bottom. And I'm trying to get it to the right without overlapping the page. And then these are the last of my bugs. And that's really it. I'll have my husband journal a little bit on that journaling card. Make sure to come back tomorrow, you can see the following day sketch. Check out everybody else that's playing below. Give me a like. Give me a thumbs up if you like this. Consider subscribing if you haven't yet. Thank you to all my subscribers. I'm hoping you're having as much or even half as much fun as I am. This has been fun and I'm getting a lot done. There we go. Is that the last one? All right. Thank you so much. Have a fabulous day, and I'll see you again soon for another video.